I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about psychology and true crime. And this was a case that's right in Virginia that just happened a few days ago. And just today, the homeowner that was involved in this incident was arrested. A little background on the story: in Spotsylvania County around 3 a.m., there were three teenagers that were, it sounds like they were ringing doorbells and running away. And the homeowner thought that they were attempting to break into his home. And unfortunately, so trigger warning for this one of the teens, an 18-year-old from a local high school, Massaponax High School, unfortunately was shot and killed. And it's really heartbreaking, and this is where parents really have to have conversations with kids, because even in our neighborhood, it can happen where someone is caught on a ringing the doorbell and running away. It's meant to be a harmless prank, but some details that might come into this case is that just within the last month, there was another case of an illegal gun sale gone wrong where between, I think it was a total of maybe 6 teens, but 3 teens ended up, deceased in what's, like, you can only call it a shootout. And so locally, everybody has kind of been on guard for potential issues in their communities. The individual that was arrested, he is 27 years old, and he's likely going to attempt to claim self-defense. And the thing that we always have to remember is that self-defense, it can be up to interpretation, because often the jury instruction, if it is a case that goes to trial, the jury instruction is, you know, would a reasonable person have thought that they were in trouble? So there are some initial reports, and I do not know, because some of these have not been confirmed. So there have been some reports that the teens might have been running away when they were shot at. And often, cases like that, if the person is retreating, often the homeowner is meant to like stay safely in your home and not engage. That's normally what's meant to happen. I did also want to mention there was a similar case out in California. Let me pull up that information, because a man was found guilty of murdering three teens that ding dong ditched his house, but he ran them down with his car. And so it was, so I think he was found guilty because he was, yeah, convicted of 3 counts of first degree and 3 counts of attempted, after he intentionally rammed his car into teenagers, and it was forced off the road. And, so, because once again, the teens are running from the house, and the homeowner attempts to, like, is probably upset. So it is frustrating. So if somebody was ringing my doorbell at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would be agitated, I would be upset. And there are some of these ding dong ditch, because sometimes they record these and they put them on YouTube or they put them on TikTok. And in this case, so in the case out of Virginia, one of the teens, because there were 3 teens altogether, one of them was grazed in the situation, one of them was completely unharmed, and then the 18-year-old is the one that unfortunately, like, is deceased. And his family, the school, because he was a football player and a lacrosse player, and they ended up canceling because I think it happened the night of prom, and then the very next day, they were supposed to have a lacrosse game, and that game ended up getting canceled. There were likely mental health counselors available at the school just in case they were needed. I did find, just because, often we like to look at the legal side of things and uh ding dong ditching. So people can be charged with trespassing, disturbance of the peace, possibly vandalism or harassment, because sometimes people are banging on the door or they're like kicking the door, and the individual's intent does matter because it can be viewed as harassing the homeowner. It really can. Um, and so, and like I said, in my area, I've seen multiple videos posted in our community group where a homeowner is just asking um, people to talk to their kids like, "Hey, I'm a veteran. Hey, like, just please talk to your kids." And if this had happened at 3 PM versus 3 AM, I wonder if things would have been a little bit different, because at 3 AM, hearing somebody ring your doorbell, an individual is likely gonna be on a bigger alert. I will just be following this case just to see where things go, and once again, my heart really does break for, the family, and the views are not worth it. Like, so even if this video might have done really well on TikTok, the other teens that survived this situation, they're likely impacted and changed forever. And, it's a hard, like, that's where, I want my kid to learn from what I say and not have to experience something like that. That like, "Hey, um, you can't be doing this." And so, really, really sad story. Um and once again, just for parents and families to sit down and talk with kids about TikTok challenges, because there have been a few other challenges that have resulted in people not surviving them. Because there was one where, so individuals are recording themselves doing a prank or doing something, but it's something that's not safe. And, on the app, it actually flags unsafe thing, like, so if somebody is standing on top of a car or something like that, those videos can get taken down as encouraging dangerous behavior, but like any app, sometimes those videos can still get through, and so it really does. It's really sad, it really does break my heart. And the homeowner in the case in Virginia was arrested and charged with, let me pull that up, because that just happened today. Uh, there we go. And was charged with second degree murder, malicious wounding, and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. And it's and if those charges, like, so if this goes to trial, it's likely going to be up to a jury to decide whether or not this individual was justified in his actions. And no matter what, the homeowner has to live with the fact that, like, an 18-year-old is deceased, and it just really, really is, heartbreaking. Yeah, and like I said, because this incident happened a few days ago, and just today, the homeowner was arrested in that case. I have a link to it down in the description if people want to gather more information. This is going to be a bit of a quicker video, just talking about the importance of talking with kids when there are these TikTok challenges or different things like that. Um, do y'all have any questions for me about any cases? Because I know there is the Diddy case is in jury selection right now, and there are some celebrities, some names being thrown around. We know that Kid Cudi's name is likely being brought up because of allegations that Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car due to him getting upset over he was really jealous with Cassie Ventura. And I've also seen that his defense might try to say that he's a swinger, but I think what goes beyond just being a swinger in this situation did was his power? Did he misuse his power in situations where where there was not consent? Because I think there are allegations that, some people were possibly drugged, or that people were not able to fully consent, or that he would withhold, so with some of his artists, that he might withhold their record or their information if they didn't do what he wanted them to do. And so he has a lot of really strong charges. We will see what happens in his case. It's a federal case, and so there's not streaming available, but I do know there are people that are going into court and are reporting on what's happening in that case. I'm also following Donna Adelson. So Donna Adelson's case has been pushed off one more time. I've seen some information that there might be like a jailhouse, so like wait a minute. There might be, was it an informant that there might be somebody with Donna Adelson, there might be some new information that's come to light that they're giving the court additional time, especially her defense. They're giving her defense additional time to figure out, just sift through all the evidence and prepare her defense. And so I'll be keeping an eye on that one. And I've been watching Emily D. Baker's short recaps of the Karen Reed trial because I can't sit through that whole thing all over again. And so I don't have anything to add from that one. So I do not know the ages of the two other. So I know the one. Let me go ahead and share my screen because there was a news report on it. And okay, so let me just grab my headphones. And we can watch a quick news clip on this. Mhm. All right. Make myself small. There we go. All right. So here is a news clip that talks about the incident in Spotsylvania County, which is in Northern Virginia. Uh-oh, we're muted here. There we go. And I'll turn closed captionings on. There we go.
The community is debating the details of the case where three teenagers accused of breaking and entering a home on Mackenzie Lane were shot at. Two of the teens were shot, one of them, a high school senior, killed. Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Drew Wilder explains why this story is drawing so much debate.
Is this the case of a homeowner defending their property legally against potential burglars? Or is this a case of a TikTok prank gone horribly wrong? Maybe it's even a little bit of both. These are the questions prosecutors here at the Spotsylvania County Courthouse are trying to answer tonight. And at the heart of all of this mystery and all of the speculation taking place on social media, a teenager is dead. And his family tells me that their lives feel shattered.
Understand.
18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr. was a senior at Massaponax High School in Spotsy. His stepfather says Michael played lacrosse, football, and he wrestled. But at about 3 a.m. Saturday, just hours before the high school prom later that night, Michael was shot and killed by a homeowner on Mackenzie Lane. The homeowner, who has not been named nor charged with any crime, says Michael and two other teens tried to break into their house. News 4 knocked on the door of the home, but no one answered. Tonight, the Spotsylvania County Commonwealth's attorney is reviewing the evidence to determine if charges are appropriate or if this was a justifiable shooting.
And once again, so this news report, I think, was done before the update happened where the homeowner was arrested. And I don't know, so it'll be interesting to see the data that's on the kids' phones and more details about if they were running away. Because if I was on a jury and if the individual is fleeing, just my own personal opinion, I don't think the homeowner has the right to do something if the person is like they call the cops, take a picture, but to not but that's just my own personal thoughts with that. Um, we will see what happens in this case because it might be up to a jury. And there could be someone on the jury that says no, or that might even know those other incidents that happened locally. Because, like I said, there was an incident where it was, I think, a total of 16s, and they were assault rifles that were illegal because I think the oldest person might have been 18 or 19 years old, and, but they were trying to sell them, and it ended up turning into a robbery, and 3 teens ended up deceased in the midst of that incident, and that happened on April 8th, right there in Spotsylvania County as well. The victims' names were Sincere Fitz, Chase Feaster, and Alonzo Goffney. And so the Sincere was 19, and Chase and Alonzo were 18 years old. And so that had just happened locally. I will mention that hey Lisa, welcome, welcome. Uh, yeah. And so I thought so, Animal Cookie, that if the suspect is fleeing, that the homeowner does not have the right to stand there. Now, if the teens were in the house, if they were, because I think it's once they cross your threshold in many states. So each state has their own laws on stand your ground or self defense. Every state has their own laws, and it does sound like the teens recorded what happened, from a few other houses. I don't know that they have video recordings of that house, which I don't know if the police might think that, 'cause I'm sure they're gonna do a full deep dive on the kids' phones, but, because if they weren't attempting to if it wasn't an attempted robbery, and if it was just this TikTok prank, but the homeowner wouldn't know the difference. And once again, it happened at 3 a.m. So the individual that died, so Michael, he was white, and the homeowner is African American. Let me pull up. Let me see. Let me find his name again because I had it. Yes, Michael Bosworth is the victim, and this one has a and the homeowner, 27 years old, and, once again, it's going to be up to a jury to decide what what happens, and, uh, yeah, alright. And I've been following the Johnny Sommelier. I can't say his last, but, he's out wreaking havoc, I think, in South Korea, and, he's arrested and facing charges there because he's annoying. Like, he listens to his chat and says, like, "Should I go and do this to somebody?" Or I don't know, he's very, very strange. He's not well liked, understandably, where he's at, and I think he had faced charges in another country as well. I think it's legal bites I've watched somebody's coverage of that case. Yeah, like it is absolutely horrific. Um, yeah. Uh, yep. Uh, Lisa, and it'll be interesting to see what the jury decides and what happens in this case. The images that have been released of the homeowner on social media, the comments, of course, have been horrific. Um, and it just really, really is a sad case. I need more information. So if it's true that the teens were running away, uh, that's where the homeowner might run into some issues. A jury might say no. And he's been charged with second degree, which is different from that case I mentioned out in California, where the teens rang the doorbell or like they were doing the ding dong ditch thing, and the homeowner got in his car and chased them down. He was found guilty of first degree murder. And so, super, super sad case. And it does sound like the one of the teens gave the police their phone, and they showed them where they had, recorded videos, doing a similar thing at other houses. Alright. Super, super sad. Super sad. Once again, shorter video today. I appreciate you all. I encourage parents to talk to their kids, especially about engaging in behaviors like that because it is illegal. So, um, uh, I know it's just meant to be a prank. I know sometimes in our area, middle school students all the way up to high school students. I saw on YouTube that there were some adults that also did ding dong ditch, which I have too much time. Why? No, no, I have things to do. I don't know why there were adults doing it, but, it's not safe. It if you ring the wrong person's doorbell, it could have a tragic ending, and so that's where I think talking with kids about this and how, like, if you're gonna do a prank, do something else that's silly. And that isn't illegal. Because 'Cause I've also seen pranks of people contaminating food in Walmart or people doing horrific things, and this is all for likes and views, and, it's not worth it because they end up charged with crimes. There's a YouTube channel that's devoted to just this social media person ruined their life over like, that's I think what their entire channel is just TikToker ruins their life over and then whatever the individual did. That's what his entire channel is dedicated to. Um, I Lisa, I did see that case of a woman, a white woman, that called a 5-year-old the N-word, and, she has a GoFundMe that's raised quite a bit of money. I did see that. Um, and I do hope that the child has support, because that's just horrific for anyone involved, yet less a child. And so, yeah. So I appreciate you all. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. I will see y'all next time. Bye.